A while back, I made a video showing how to clean the power head of a Miele vacuum cleaner. To all those of you that watched, liked, and subscribed, I'm incredibly thankful. Unbeknownst to me, there's at least one other version of the Miele power head, and some of you have it. In fact, one of you left a comment requesting some help reassembling the SEB 228 version of this power head. So I went out and found one and figured, let's give it a try. A quick inspection of this Miele SEB 228 vacuum head reveals a lot of similarities to the SEB 236 unit I disassembled in a previous video. I'll leave a link to that video here. For tools, you'll need a Torx T10 driver. Two other tools that are nice to have are small needle nose pliers and a magnetic pickup tool. I'll leave links to those tools in the description below. I start by releasing the neck lock and lying the unit on its front, head, top. Next, the two screws holding the height adjustment roller are removed, followed by the roller itself. Next, I remove the 8 screws holding the unit together. This is where the magnet comes in handy. Note that the screws are not all the same length. I like to set the screws aside in the orientation they came out, that way I get them back in their correct homes. Top row, mid row, center row, and bottom. And these two rebels break in the mold. Flip the unit right side up and gently pull up on the front, separating the two halves. There doesn't appear to be any clips or latches, just a friction fit. To gain access to the motor and beater brush, there are 3 more T10 screws to be removed. Again, each is placed in a logical orientation for ease of reassembly. The initial housing is then lifted from the front and slid backwards, making sure to clear the height adjustment actuator. Don't force or twist anything. It should just come out and off with a small bit of persuasion. Next, I remove the leads connecting the electric motor to the control board. I marked which lead goes where, but I'm not certain if that really makes a difference. I recommend using a small needle nose pliers to remove the clips. With that done, the internal housing and connected neck piece can be set out of the way. The wheels just lift out of their respective grooves. Take care not to lose the spring for the neck release. To remove the beater brush for cleaning, this one is obviously brand new, just lift the brush straight up and out. You can remove the bearing carrier on each end for cleaning as well. Next, remove the height selection unit by lifting the dial piece straight up and out. Keep hold of it so it doesn't fall apart. It's made up of the plastic dial armature, a metal plate, and a spring. As well as the metal actuator level and its accompanying spring. I did not remove the motor in this video, but should it be necessary, there's just 2 screws. And that's it, unit disassembled. Reassembly, as you might expect, is simply a reverse of the disassembly. Good luck! I'm just kidding. Let's put this back together, starting with the beater brush. If you had removed the motor, reinstall it first. Place the bearing carriers on either end of the brush and loop it through the motor belt. Then slide the 2 bearing carriers into the receiving slots in the case, making sure the smaller end of the carrier is pointing down. Next, place the neck release spring and the height adjustment spring back in their respective homes. For reference, the height adjustment spring is about 30 millimeters or slightly over 1 inch long, and the neck release spring is about 21 millimeters or just under 7/8 of an inch. While putting this back together, I realized that it's easier to install the height adjustment system after the initial housing has been put back into place. But I wanted to make sure to show you this little trick. Get a couple of blocks that are about 1 inch or 2 tall. You could even use a short piece of 2x4 if you have that lying around, and place the unit on top of the blocks. This makes the assembly much easier because the wheels are able to sit properly in their grooves while the internal housing is being installed. Here are a couple of close-ups of how the wheels fit into the grooves. Note, here I now realize that it would be easier with the height adjustment system out of the way for this part, so I removed it. Now for the internal housing, which includes the neck. This is a little fussy and you need to get this right. The 2 round ears on the neck piece slide into the 2 slots in the internal housing. Make certain the 2 yellow wires are coming down the back and around the bottom of the mounting ear as you see here. If the wires are not routed properly, they could bind in the pivot point and possibly be cut. Now, holding the neck in the up or locked position, line up the front screw holes and set the housing in place. It should set down without forcing it. At the same time as you're doing all that, make certain that the white motor wires are routed freely from underneath the housing and not pinched or caught. Once in place and still on the blocks, keep slight downward pressure on the housing and check to make sure the neck mechanism works freely and the wires are not pinched, caught, or stretched. Everything should move freely. If everything looks good, go ahead and install the 3 screws that keep the internal housing in place. Note, none of these screws need to be crazy tight. Just drive them until they stop, then give them about 1/8 of a turn more. That's all that's required. You can now take the unit off the blocks that were holding it up. Congrats, the second hardest part is done. Replace the motor leads to their respective homes and tuck the wires down underneath the clear neck mechanism. If through the course of disassembly the height roller adjuster fell out, it should be slid back into its home with the flat side facing the back toward the neck and the curved side facing the front of the unit. To install the height adjustment mechanism, start by making sure the 30mm spring is in position. Then place the height adjustment lever on the pin protruding from the case, ensuring the flat actuation pad is facing up and the back of the arm is in the groove over the spring. Next, install the spring on the armature, large side of the spring contacting the face of the wheel. Now the metal disc is put into place with the raised ridge facing outward and the off-center hole placed over the off-center pin. Keep a finger on the metal disc between the number 3 and 4 to keep the whole thing from springing apart. With your other hand, push the actuator lever down against the spring as far as it will go and place the off-center pin of the dial mechanism into the slot in the arm that you are currently pushing down, all the while trying to keep the number 1 at the top. When the pin is engaged, let up pressure on the lever while guiding the dial armature into its place. Once seated, give the dial a slight wiggle either way and it should click into place. When installed properly, it shouldn't turn if you apply pressure with a finger. Congrats! That's the hardest part done. Now it's just a matter of reinstalling the cover. Put the neck in the down or unlocked position. Hold the cover over the base so it's just about lined up. Slightly tip the cover back first, then down. It should just slide into place, no clicks or snaps, it just sits down on the base. Check the neck release foot switch and make sure the neck moves freely. With everything working smoothly and the neck in the unlocked position, flip the unit over, holding it together as you do so. Start with the 3 bottom screws. For reference, these are the longest screws at about 23 millimeters. All the rest of the screws are about 18 millimeters and can be driven home. Finally, install the height roller by holding it at an angle and pushing down and back to snap it into position. Make certain the adjustment clip is in place and snapped around the roller arm. If it's not there because you forgot to put it in, rewind the video and start over. With the final 2 screws in place, turn the unit over and make certain the height mechanism works freely. Congratulations on a job well done. Well, hopefully that was helpful and all those SEB 228s out there are now clean and operational. Thanks to the individual who reached out with the request that inspired this video. I hope this helps you get it back up and running. Please leave a comment and perhaps a like if you found the video helpful. Hearing from you is what makes this all worthwhile. Well, back to some projects I've got in the works. Until next time, I'm mainejason. Get out there and give it a try.